Hello everybody, welcome back to Hyperfix. Today, what I have for you is a PowerPoint presentation about why I don't like AI. Now, AI, I think, is a hotly debated topic these days, especially in school and so on, and it's kind of debated whether we should use it or if we shouldn't, if it's a good thing or it's a bad thing, if it's going to benefit us or not. But I'm here to talk about it today and to say my stance about it. So, as I said in the beginning, I don't like AI, and one reason for that is I think it makes you dumber because uh, when you have like ChatGPT on your phone, you think that, oh, if I have a problem, I can tell it to ChatGPT, and it can figure it out for me, and overall, I'll be smarter. Which, yeah, okay, it might make some problem solving easier for you, but you don't actually get any better at problem solving if you just refer everything to ChatGPT, because if you're in a situation where you can't use it, you're screwed basically. So it just makes you dumb, and I don't think that's very beneficial for humanity. Then second, especially the video generative AI and the image generative AI is extremely uncreative, because you can pretty much make anything that you want and anything that you want to make that looks like kind of okay, but it's just not art because you didn't put any work into it. You just thought of a prompt. And if you're one of those prompt artists, like, be for real, seriously, that's not art. That's just like you're just incompetent if you're that. Okay. But yeah, I think that that's probably not a very good use of AI, and there are pretty much no positive uses of image generative AI and video generative AI at all, especially because it's really easy to make like deep fakes with them, and they can be used for a lot of bad things. So yeah, I don't think that's very good. Then it is really easy to exploit in a lot of ways. One way is that you can make an AI voice of someone's like son or someone's family member, and then you can call them with that other person, that person's family member's voice, and then you can ask them for money, and it can be used for scams like that very easily. It can also be used for deepfakes, as I said. And also another way is that you can just make really easy content with it. That you can make like those text videos, or the videos that are supposed to be Reddit videos but actually aren't, and it's actually just ChatGPT making up stories. But I don't think that many people know about that. They might, but I generally don't know. But yeah, I think I think that's something that's not very good about it. But a fourth reason why I don't think it's good is that it's kind of hard to spot, right? It's kind of hard to spot whether something is ChatGPT or written by AI. And even if you can notice a bunch of things about it, it's really hard to spot and say concretely that this was written by AI. Undeniably, it's really hard to just say that with full confidence. And for example, you can write an essay for some subject, and then you give that to your teachers. And if it was written completely by AI and you didn't even touch it, they can say that they think you did that, but they can't really concretely prove it, and I don't think that's a very good thing. However, I don't know about you, but I really don't like when, as I said, it's someone on Reddit talking about their experience with something, but it's just written by ChatGPT. And I've learned how to spot if it's written by a clanker or if it's actually by a human. So, the first sign that it might be written by ChatGPT, and this is probably the most well known one, is M dashes. They use M dashes a lot. And if you don't know what an M dash is, it's you see that this is an example, for example, that The M dash may be used just like a colon to introduce a list, right? Yeah. The M dash is less formal than a colon and is generally not used in formal writing. So multiple languages are spoken in Canada: English, French, and native languages. Usually, you wouldn't even use this as a normal person. You would just use a colon, but you know, you can use an M dash as well. But ChatGPT tends to use them a lot more because they are a lot more present in books, and ChatGPT is mostly written on books, specifically fiction. Then, when they introduce something new, like a new concept, for example, there was a rule at my school, like a rule at their school. They will tend to say there was this rule at my school instead of there was a rule in my school. And I don't know, like there was this guy instead of there was a guy, etc., etc. They will just really use that way more than you would actually use in normal speech, even though this is something that you would kind of use in like semi-formal or informal speech. It is just something that is not really used as much as ChatGPT uses it, and not that much in that way. So yeah, that's also a really good sign. And third thing is that ChatGPT it doesn't really talk like in an informal register or a super formal register. When it talks in an informal register, it's just like not very human, so you can really easily spot that, and that's not a problem. But it is mostly even in, for example, stories on Reddit, where it's supposed to use on the spectrum from completely informal to completely formal. It's supposed to be like 30% of the way from informal to formal, but it talks like it's on about like 70% of the way. So that's probably a really easy way to find that out. That ChatGPT is always talks like you're just writing a book, right? And I think that's just a really good sign to see that does this read like a book or does it read like someone's telling me this in real life? Does this sound like someone has thought these sentences through like a few times before writing them, or is it just the first time that they're going through with it? So yeah, it might sound like the fourth draft of something because it doesn't sound as professional as some books might, and it's just not good writing. But yeah, that's something that's very easy to spot. And then another thing that you can find from it is that it tends to tell you names a lot. Even when names aren't really necessary to get your point across. For example, if I was telling you a story about my friend and you don't know that friend, I would consistently call them my friend. So I would say that, yeah, me and my friend went and did this, and then went there, and my friend said this, and I would never tell you their name because why do you need to know their name? There's no reason to tell you that, right? However, ChatGPT, because books tend to use names to talk about some people, unlike you would in real life. So it just it goes right out of the gate. It says that yeah, Zara is doing this and this, or there's a few names, especially female names, that it tends to use a lot more instead of just the most common ones. For I don't know why that does, and especially one really really easy way to find out that it's a robot writing it is when you're talking to random people on the internet. You would not tell someone what your teacher's surname was ever, right? I wouldn't go and tell you that yeah, okay, Mr. This and this, or Mr. like I would actually tell you their surname. You would never actually do that on the internet ever, but you might do that in a book where the teacher is actually fictional, and the teacher that ChatGPT is writing about is fictional anyway, but it's telling you that it's not, or it's not selling you that it's actually a real person. Also, they will usually have like really like DI names, usually something like Robinson or Gomez or Lopez or something like that, or Hernandez. For some reason, a lot of the teachers are just Mexican. And on that note, also, everything that is written by AI, pretty much, especially all these Reddit stories, which are the thing that I trained on the most to figure out what was AI and what wasn't. All of it is written in you will never find one of these that is written by AI and that isn't in America, right? So pretty much you'll never hear about a story that talks about, like, I don't know, GCSEs or the Matura exam in Germany or whatever, that is written by an AI unless it's specifically told to do that, which it almost never is. So that's also a really handy way to figure out whether something is written by ChatGPT or not. So basically, ChatGPT thinks that it's writing a book when it isn't. So if they use a register that would be good for a book, but not in the context that it's actually in, you can say with like 80% certainty that it's written by AI. Now, especially the main one that you will see that is the biggest sell-off is when they give you information that isn't necessary. The most one out of these is giving teacher surnames. That just doesn't happen when you speak about people. What? Why is someone calling me? Oh, okay. My $100 timer ran out. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that in the future, when you're just scrolling, doom scrolling, and you see someone talk about something that just includes all of these things, you can now tell that they're a robot and not a real person. Have a nice day, like, subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.